Class 10 Solutions Why, How, What Series 7. Why anhydrous copper sulfate is colorless? What do you mean by anhydrous copper sulfate? Anhydrous copper sulfate is copper sulfate powder. You know copper sulfate crystals are bright blue in color. Why does it become colorless when it becomes a powder? Let us know about it. Copper sulfate is an ionic compound. Before getting to know what an ionic compound is, let us know what ions are. Ions are atoms or group of atoms with an electrostatic charge. Example, Na plus called sodium ion, NH4 plus called ammonium ion, etc. These positive charge ions are also called as cations. Examples for negative charge ions are chlorine minus chlorine ion, SO4 minus sulfate ion, etc. These negative charge ions are called as anions. Due to the attraction between oppositely charged ions, a chemical bonding known as ionic bonding occurs between the positively charged ion cation and the negatively charged ion anion. This results in the formation of ionic compounds. Example, sodium cation plus chlorine anion forms sodium chloride. Copper cation plus sulfate anion forms copper sulfate. Ammonium cation plus chlorine anion forms ammonium chloride. These compounds are called ionic compounds. An ionic compound is a chemical compound composed of ions held together by electrostatic forces termed as ionic bond. The compound is neutral but consists of positively charged ions, the cations, and the negatively charged ions, the anions. When ionic substances are dissolved in water to make saturated solutions, the ions attract water molecules which get chemically attached in a certain ratio. This is known as hydration. These ionic substances can crystallize out from their saturated aqueous solution, that is, saturated solution formed with water. When doing so, they form crystals with definite number of water molecules in them. Example, copper sulfate 5H2O. That is, copper sulfate crystals crystallize out from the saturated copper sulfate solution with 5 molecules of water in them. So, the copper sulfate crystals formed will have 5 water molecules. The number of water molecules found in the crystalline substance is called water of crystallization, and such salts are called hydrated salts. When these hydrated salts are heated, they lose their water of crystallization. On losing their water of crystallization, they lose their crystalline form and become a powder, amorphous form. If these hydrated salts are colored salts, they lose their color also. When blue colored copper sulfate crystals are heated gently, they lose their 5 molecules of water of crystallization and become colorless copper sulfate powder, that is, colorless anhydrous copper sulfate. If we add few drops of water to this colorless anhydrous copper sulfate, it will absorb the water of crystallization and turn back into blue colored hydrated copper sulfate salt. Similar effect can be seen in magnesium sulfate crystals also. Let us know about more such hydrated salts and their water of crystallization. Copper sulfate, commonly known as blue vitriol, with the molecular formula CuSO4 5H2O, water of crystallization is 5. Calcium sulfate, commonly known as gypsum, CaSO4 2H2O, has 2 water of crystallization. Magnesium sulfate, Epsom salt, MgSO4, 7H2O with 7 water of crystallization. Iron sulfate, called as green vitriol, FeSO4, 7H2O, has 7 water of crystallization. And zinc sulfate, called as white vitriol, ZnSO4, 7H2O, also has 7 water of crystallization. Like hydrated salts, there are certain other substances known as hygroscopic substances and deliquescent substances. Let us know what they are. Hygroscopic substances. Certain substances, when exposed to atmospheric air at ordinary temperature, absorb moisture without changing their state. Such substances are called hygroscopic substances, and this property is called hygroscopy. Hygroscopic substances are amorphous solids or liquids. Example: concentrated sulfuric acid H2SO4, phosphorus pentoxide P2O5, quicklime CaO, silicon gel SiO2. These hygroscopic substances are used as drying agents or desiccants as they absorb the moisture. The silica gel packs that you see in the packings of electronic gadgets, shoe boxes are such hygroscopic substances which are used to absorb the moisture in air and protect the components of the electronic item and the leather shoe. The next type of substances are deliquescent substances. Certain substances on exposure to atmospheric air at ordinary temperature absorb enough water, lose their crystalline shape and get completely dissolved. Such substances are called deliquescent substances, and this property is called deliquescence. Deliquescent substances are crystalline solids. Deliquescence is maximum when temperature is low and atmosphere is humid, that is, more water vapor present in the atmosphere. Examples of deliquescent substances are sodium hydroxide NaOH, commonly called as caustic soda, potassium hydroxide KOH, caustic potash, ferric chloride FeCl3. Hope you have now understood why anhydrous copper sulfate is colorless and have gained more knowledge about hygroscopic and deliquescent substances. Thank you for watching. Repeated viewing of the video will enable clear understanding of the concept and thorough learning of the scientific definitions. Please like, share, subscribe and click the bell icon.